Hey everybody, Boris speaking Forex. Welcome to the weekly technicals for the crosses for July 2nd to July 6th, 2018. And the trade in the crosses this week is really all about trading the extremes as well as looking for some very interesting breakout opportunities that I think are occurring. Let's start with the ideas that I have for you this week. Aussie Kiwi right now. I know the Kiwi is very weak, and it's been a seminal trade this week. A very easy trade to trade against this week. We had the pound Kiwi last week as a big breakout trade, which worked tremendously. But the trade, I think, is getting tired, or at least getting exhausted at this point. And Aussie Kiwi is coming up against that very important 110 resistance level. So to me, especially with the RBA on tap, unlikely they're going to be very hawkish. We could create a little bit of a rebalancing here and move back towards the 108 over the next week or so. Euro Kiwi, similar kind of a story, massive moves here, but we're coming up against, again on the charts, against some very strong resistance. And it's really not a question now of the Kiwi, I think, falling much further, but if any kind of a correction in the Euro sort of towards back to 116s really creates an opportunity here for a move back down. I think both of those trades look a little bit overbought here, and we are coming up against range resistance, so it's a reasonable short against those levels. The most interesting trade on the docket, however, which really surprised me, is actually the pound yen trade, because that has shown end of the week breakout off the lows, has scope to go all the way up to 148, and is really a trade both on the positive US flows end of the week, but most importantly, perhaps positive cable flows front of the week. If you get any kind of a upside surprise in UK data, if UK PMI comes in better than expected or even just simply in line, that could provide us with further fuel for a pound rally, which given the fact that the yen I think is going to stay stationary, the only way I could see this trade really going off the rails is if we get massive risk off flows on fresh tensions, geopolitical tensions, or perhaps a collapse of a Merkel government. Barring the political risk factor here, the most interesting economic trade here, I think, is pound yen to the upside. So let's take a look at the charts here and see how everything sets up. And we can start with the Euro Kiwi, because you can see this massive move on the cross here. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10 out of 11 days have been straight up days. That's a very mature rally that comes up against the 172.50, essentially 173 resist point. So could we extend, perhaps to 74? Possibly, but generally, I think we look a little bit tired. If you want to be cautious, wait for no fresh highs. What I would do is maybe wait a day or two to see if my thesis really holds, where it doesn't make any fresh highs. If it starts to stall, then it gives you really reasonable reason here for some corrective phase here after a very tough move. So that's one Kiwi trade. The other Kiwi trade is the Aussie Kiwi move, which is obviously less volatile and comes up against this big resist point here at this 110 level. And perhaps here you could employ the same strategy. Basically, the whole idea is see how Monday, Tuesday trades. I think if you kind of short with your eyes closed, it's a dangerous trade, although one with very minimal amount of risk. Certainly the risk shouldn't be more than 110. That would be your stop out point here. But if it kind of stalls here for a day or two, doesn't make any fresh highs, that gives you much more confidence that we do indeed maybe have a little bit of a corrective move towards the 108s. And then the final strategy, or the final chart that is most interesting to me, is actually this. Here's pound yen, a big power move in the pound yen on Friday. These power moves tend to have, look at this, they tend to generally have extensions, right, in the pair. And more importantly, there is some fundamental flow here behind it, because positive UK data, upside surprise in the US, all of this creates all this virtuous cycle of flow, and it doesn't have any resist until 148. So we have a couple of hundred points here, perhaps, of more movement in pound yen as the week begins. So those are the best ideas I have for you. Wish you guys the best luck, the best of trading. Boris Ideas, over and out.